Humanness pod. No.
Yeah, no.
Oh, sorry.
No, what were you going to say?
Nothing. Carry on.
Humanness podcast. Man talks. When was the last time you cried? Take one.
Take one.
Right, everyone good?
This.
I'm good. Sorry, mate.
Good.
Nope.
Hello and welcome to The Human Now, where we are discussing ideas around what it means to be in this state of time. My name is Akash, and today I'm joined by Rahul, PG,
No.
and Vinesh. See that? I went the other way.
Switching it up.
Yeah.
Changed it on us there.
Nice. Okay, so carrying on from the last session we just had, we talked about vulnerability and masculinity.
Mm-hmm.
BG's got a good question for us.
No.
All right, guys. Time to be vulnerable. When was the last time you cried?
Oh, wow.
Be honest.
I can't even remember.
I haven't
trying
cried
to think.
since I was like little.
Really?
Oh no.
No, actually, sorry. Okay. So now, when you mean crying,
Yeah.
for what reason is it?
Not
Is there a reason, or is it just crying?
not like you know, like crying as in like, you know, like where, like that kind of
Yeah,
crying,
yeah,
but like,
yeah, yeah,
as in
yeah.
like tears.
Tears.
You know, you don't have to be like, you know, audibly crying, but
Yep.
you know.
Yep. So, for me, it was just earlier on this year when someone passed away.
Mm-hmm.
That's when I cried. But even that was like the first time
Yeah.
since I was little.
Like how little?
Probably like 6, 7,
Really?
Wow.
8
damn.
maybe. Yeah.
Okay.
Since like primary school. I haven't like
Yeah.
cried with tears since then.
Damn.
And it's not because of like I need to be a man or anything like that.
Yeah,
I just haven't cried.
Yeah. I think I'm the same. Like I genuinely can't remember the last time I like properly cried. Like there's been deaths,
Yeah.
there's been things that have sort of gone wrong in my life, I guess, and I have sort of been sad and upset.
Yeah.
And I don't know, like maybe like teary-eyed and stuff. Like, I feel like I haven't like properly cried in a very, very long time.
Damn.
I don't know. Like I don't think
What about
that.
you? You seem surprised, BG.
I guess today. What did Rash do
I've got-
today?
Yeah. Now I'm kind of worried about asking this question because
No.
no, isn't like
Why are you worried?
I think because I'm a little bit surprised that you guys like haven't cried like since you guys
Recently,
since you guys were. 'Cause I don't know. I think because it's not that I cry a lot, but it happened like I noticed that this is me being very vulnerable, but I noticed that I do get like teary eyed like in a lot of cases in a lot of situations, and it's a lot of the times like, you know, like sad movies and things like that.
Right.
Like
Yeah, same with
they
me.
like really get me, and like even like real small things like. But and then I try to fight it. Like I'm like, oh, you know, suck them in the tears,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
I don't know that. I mean, I'm not very well. I never used to be very expressive in terms of my emotion, but I think that was kind of my release.
Yep.
Yeah, it's like weird.
Yeah, I'm like that. Even with books sometimes. Like if I pick up a really good book
Wow.
and I get completely invested, and I'll actually cry. Like
Yeah.
I've
Whoa.
cried reading books. I've got
crazy.
specific memories attached
Yeah.
What
to
was
a
it,
book
like
I've
Harry
read,
Potter or
and
like Doggy Dice?
It wasn't. No, it wasn't.
Spoiler
Harry
alert.
Potter. Yeah. Wow, man, you're killing the book for some people. Yeah. No, it's very weird. Like it's very weird. Like I've always had these. I've always read and studied with music, and so
Right.
I've had this really and I've still got those books actually in my house and in my bookshelf, and I remember these specific books, what song was playing, and when I cried. Like it was
Wow.
very much like I got through the book, and at the end one of the characters I really liked died, and it was the main protagonist's only love that like he'd ever had, and it was sad for me. I felt really bad for him, and he'd lost everything. And movies and stuff. I have I've pretty much cried in most like really sad movies. You'll see me cry. But even recently, I felt what's really got to me is inspirational stories.
Yeah.
I've really teared up, and like my heart beats fast, and I get like dry throat and stuff, and like when I'm watching like a really inspirational movie, and like, or even just like a competition, like I think I was watching, like wasn't like MasterChef or something, and this guy, like it was the first episode or one of the first episodes, and this guy got forced to do the MasterChef thing, and the only reason he did it was because his son signed him up. He had no idea, and so when he got in, he like sort of, like was hiding it from his son, and his son came in, and then he showed him, like his son was so sad that he didn't get it, showed him, like that just got me, and I was like, oh my God, looking across the room, my mom's crying, and I'm like, yeah, I get you, mom. Like it's weird, like those are things I never would have like cried, but now I've just got this, and I don't know why. I guess it's just more in touch with my sort of emotion. And I feel for those people. I think I've become a lot more empathetic than I used to be.
Yeah.
I think I can relate to you, like when I see that one video, where the kid's trying to jump onto the
steps.
The step.
Oh, and the dad keeps like, yeah, that's really good.
I remember the first time I watched it. After that, I felt like I was gonna cry.
Yeah.
I didn't cry, but I was just like
the emotion was there.
So
Yeah,
much emotion.
Just on the edge. Yeah.
Actually, man.
Yeah.
Like even, going. I think now that I think about it, seeing people doing like really, really nice and just genuine things, or that like real raw kindness, or that emotion of like love. Yeah, I've been. There's been times that I'll just be like. So close to
and it's not even
like
tears of like sadness, it's tears of happiness, like and I think that's what these things are great at, like like we see those videos that are inspiring and amazing on Facebook because people are just being real, and I think that's the biggest thing that gets me. I think I've nailed on the head there, like just in this moment, is that things that are real, things that you can see that you're like, man, I can see why that's emotional for those people. And you can feel that instead of something fake or something, made up. And it's just, it's beautiful.
Yeah. Basically, whenever like a dog dies in a movie, that's me, I'm gone. Like I think Marley and Me.
Oh,
like
mate,
that was
cried in
like
that movie.
full on, like that was not just tears, not even just tears. I lost a dog as growing up, and so I don't know, it just kind of hit me, and then this was like, oh man, and there's no,
it's amazing, like
Do you think that like crying makes you less of a man?
For me, I think I just haven't really ever, like, I don't think I've ever made a conscious decision not to cry.
Yeah, it just doesn't.
It just doesn't come out, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I don't think I've ever been like, oh my God, I want to cry, but I can't because there's people watching or whatever, you know? Like, I don't think I've ever...
You've never held yourself back.
I just don't think I've ever been to that level where I'm like...
That situation.
I need to cry.
Yeah.
You know? And then if I reckon, and I assume that if I ever got to that state, then I will cry, right? But I'm just like...
Just wait until you get married.
Hey. Hope you're listening, fiance. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think, even for me, I don't think it was that you're less of a man if you... cry.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to think whether it was you're a girl if you cry, or you sound like a girl, or you're whining like. I'm just trying to think if it ever was that.
Yeah.
That's probably what I reckon for me that's probably what it was over the last 30 years that made me possibly be like that. Like just it probably wasn't like one situation or anything like that.
Yeah.
But I sort of just never really,
I feel like it might be my own conditioning and
Like subconsciously like thinking that it's not something that's associated to a male.
Yeah.
But I also think like I don't know, I'm going to speak for all of us anyway. But I think like we're individuals that have worked on our mental toughness in terms of dealing with our emotions.
So that's what I was going to say. I think
like
that's my condition. That was my conditioning.
Yeah.
Or that was there.
Yeah.
But it's not like that anymore. Like I understand now.
Yeah.
Like no, girls aren't.
Yeah,
You're not a
yeah.
girl if you cry. You're not less of a
Yeah,
man
yeah.
if you cry.
But I was more thinking like, like sort of with the mission and stuff, we've
Right.
learned to like sort of like not let emotions get the most of us, and we want to try and stay level as we can, and I think that's helped. Like I know with me, that's helped with that kind of thing, like how to
Yeah.
deal with it rather than, and like I said, I think that's just the expression of that, whatever
Right.
you're feeling is different for everybody, right? Like so, some people, it's they deal with it with anger. Some people deal with it by crying. Some people deal with it, and I think the only time you actually cry is when you get really sad now, because that's when that's the correct sort of like, no, not correct, but that's what the natural emotion is for that.
Yeah, sad or like
Really happy.
really happy
Or really happy, yeah.
proud or
Yeah,
inspired.
Like
maybe.
I could imagine like
Yeah.
Your daughter's first sort of like maybe stage or dance or something. Like there could be something
It's
that.
gonna be so many times where I'm just gonna be a wreck. I can see it now.
Don't know, we'll be there. We'll be crying with you probably. We'll be there.
Do you guys find yourselves about to or going to cry when you see someone else cry?
Yeah.
If
I find
it's
that
someone
hard.
close,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I find it hard, especially if I'm not used to seeing that person cry. If I'm not used to seeing that person cry.
Yeah. Yeah.
For me, like
Like-
when mum cries, it's like
demo.
I can handle that.
Right.
But when dad cries,
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
it's
yeah,
just
yeah,
like
yeah.
whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah. Same, yeah.
Yep.
And I feel I don't know what it is, but
Yeah.
maybe because I see him in that light,
Mm.
Yeah.
Maybe it's also because he does it less,
Mm.
like for my mom, it's more normal as such for her to cry, to see her vulnerable and crying than my dad, and that's what gets me. I'm like, wow, it must be really bad if it's if he's crying. Yeah, like I
It's
think,
interesting, eh?
yeah, it's
Yeah.
very
How
interesting.
we see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really interesting.
Baby cheese.
Yeah, like when you said that, yeah, seeing somebody else cry, does it make you? Yeah, I think, yeah, like when you're like when you're at like a, I don't know, when I think back to when my grandma passed away, and then you've kind of let it out and stuff, and that's fine, but then like you'll see your mum crying, or close family crying, and then you like see them, and then that, like seeing that, like you've dealt with your like you've dealt with it yourself,
Your
but
grief,
then your grief, you've dealt with your grief yourself, but then you see somebody else going through it, and then you feel like sorry or sad for them,
Yeah.
and then that kind of gets
It's
you going as
empathy,
well.
eh?
Yeah, so like
Yeah.
it's like
It's-
empathy.
I don't know. It's really funny, but for me, it's always been like an off trigger. Like, so I remember when my grandfather passed away, right? Like, I saw my dad crying and I saw my uncle crying and stuff, and I was like, right, I'm strong, I'm good. Like, I'd also done, I'd sort of done the initial crying, and this was at the funeral, and I was like, okay, cool, I'm good. And then it was weird. Like, it was just a random, like, one of my dad's friends,
Yeah.
and he came along, and I just lost the plot. And it was so strange because I was like, man, there's all these other people. Like my other grandfather came across, and my cousins came across, no crying. And then this guy who's like I know him, but it's not like we're like like family or anything, And it was almost like I just couldn't. It just boom, and I was done. And I like literally for like almost 5 minutes I was crying on him and like, where this whole shit and stuff. But like like it was just so weird, and I've never been able to figure that out. And I can still remember exactly how, what it was and who it was that triggered that. And it's just strange, like, and that's what I mean. I think once you get to that emotional level, it just comes out. It's just natural. And that's probably why I think I haven't cried. I've never got to that state yet. Again, I mean, and that's definitely not to say I won't anymore. I will at some point.
Yep.
But yeah, I haven't got to that yet. So it's been a while.
Yeah.
Cool. Do you have anything else, BG?
No, I guess like you said, and when you do get there, like it should be okay too. Like and I think that's one thing that
You shouldn't have to feel like you need
Yeah,
to
you
hold
should-
it
yeah,
in
yeah.
or you're gonna
Yeah.
get
because like say when if I'm watching a sad movie and I'm with Rachna, my wife, I'll like we kind of joke around about it because I'm the first, I'm more likely to cry in a sad movie than she is.
Unless it's Harry Potter.
and then like I'll try to hide it from her. I'll like kind of look away and just take it all
But
in.
why?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah, I know.
Why are
and
you doing that?
And then and I shouldn't like, and she's probably the one person that I should be most comfortable
Yeah.
with. But even with her, like, I'm like, I'll try to like hold it in.
It's this construct,
Yeah.
that you feel like you need to because you're a man. You can't.
So you can't like, and I don't know. It shouldn't necessarily be that way.
Yeah.
But I'm doing it myself. So how can I?
I think I think the great thing about like for you and for you to feel that way is really good. It just means you're such an empathetic person. Like, and that's such a good thing. Like, people struggle with empathy, like they struggle to relate, and you've got that natural ability that you relate to people, even if it's just on a movie screen and it's fake.
Yeah.
That's so good. Like, it just means in life, like, like there's all those people. I saw this post at some point where there's this accident, there's a person lying on the floor and everyone's standing there taking photos, and only 2 people ran up to help this guy. That would be you.
The London Bridge.
Do you know what I mean? And that and that would be someone like you, and that's what we need more of. So if anything, you should be proud of crying in those situations, because it means you're empathetic and means you will be a man of action, which is probably the most masculine thing you can do, right?
It's well put.
Nice.
Minesh, anything else to add?
I think we're good.
I just moved the mic away.
So I'm done. Yeah, I think you put it quite well just there, Rahul, that to empathize means you can like really just connect on that level and see or feel how someone is, or begin to understand how someone is feeling.
Yeah.
And then what you said, BG, and that like you should be able to feel comfortable enough to express yourself in however way around the ones that are really close to you. We shouldn't have all these constructs built around us to make us feel like we need to be a certain way, or like even your wife is going to think about you this way because of what you've been brought up to be like.
Exactly.
No, I think you raised a good point there. Cool. That was good. I think I learned about empathy today.
Yeah, I think so.
Empathy, and if you need to cry, you need to cry.
Yeah. To let it out.
Sweet. Thank you very much for coming along, guys.
Thank you for having us.
I want to thank everyone who's tuning in. If you're listening on the podcast or if you're watching on YouTube, please do leave a comment. Please do share, like, subscribe. Rate, please. It's important for the movement. If you got any other questions, anything you want us to talk about, if you want to join the conversation, please do email us at info@thehumannow.co.nz. And until next time, be human, be now.